I can hear you, and thank you, Catherine.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to Mission Dharma. I want to welcome guest teacher David Lewis, who can introduce himself or just dive right in.
I think we shall dive right in. Good evening, everybody. It's lovely to be with you this evening. I suggest we start by getting comfortable. Finding a comfortable posture that allows you to both relax and remain mentally alert. Letting go of any preoccupations that may be churning. And ground yourself in this present moment. Allowing the mind to rest in your body like the body is resting in its seat. Inviting a sense of gratitude for giving yourself a break this evening. I'm grateful to be here with you. Gratitude also for the Buddha, which means both the historical Buddha's example, but also your own ability to awaken. Gratitude for the Dharma, which is both the Buddha's teachings and also the nature of reality. And gratitude for the Sangha, which is both this community gathered here tonight and all our practitioner ancestors, going back 2,600 years to the time of the Buddha. Together, we take refuge in the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And relax. Let your eyes soften and gently close, turning your gaze inwards. Allowing your attention to rest with the breath, at least for a moment, grounding you in the body, in the present moment. The breath is always a suitable meditation object and a refuge from a busy mind, a reliable refuge. So take a moment or two, resting in the breath. As you become settled in this posture, abiding in this moment, you may choose to open your awareness to other phenomena that may arise. For example, sounds, rising and passing. Sounds lasting only a fraction of a moment. Hearing. Also, thoughts and feelings, rising and passing just as rapidly as sounds. Never changing, flowing like a river. Noticing the variety of phenomena happening all at the same time. The sense of touch, the touch points of your body in its seat, touch of your clothes, your feet on the floor, your hands resting wherever they're resting. The sense of hearing, thoughts and feelings rising and passing. All these phenomena have the common quality of impermanence. It is their nature to change. So there's no need to make anything happen or to control your experience. Whatever is happening in the moment is what is supposed to be happening. Our task is simply to observe, hopefully without getting caught up in any of it. But if you do get caught up in something, as is wont to happen, if the mind wanders, at some point, mindfulness will notice. This is a moment of waking up. And at that point, you can mindfully let go of whatever it was and ground yourself once again in the present moment. Returning to the breath, perhaps. Starting again. As many times as you need to during the course of your meditation. Keep practicing like this. Now ring a bell at the end. If the mind has wandered, simply notice that that's happened. If I'm interrupting something, what did I interrupt? Whatever it is, let it be. Bring your attention back to the breath, the body, your posture. Start all over again. Thank you for your practice. And I think now is the time for announcements. Catherine, is that correct?
That's right. Thank you, David. Lovely sit. We have a half day coming up. And if you'll just bear with me for a second, I just need to check the date. It's called A Case of Mistaken Identity. And bear with me, I accidentally closed the window that the information was in. So we're all in Zoom world and we all understand. Just a second. Okay, so A Case of Mistaken Identity is an online half-day retreat on Saturday, September 25th from 9 to 1. And I will put the link into the chat. And Howie is also leading a 2-day online retreat on October 2nd and 3rd. This is hosted by Prescott Insight Meditation, one of the communities in Arizona that Howie takes care of and is one of the teachers for. So I will also put that link in the chat. And then further out, there's a longer retreat on the land at Spirit Rock that is unfortunately only open for wait list right now, but those spots sometimes do open. It is called Natural Radiance. It's October 20th through 27th, and that's at Spirit Rock, and you can find more information by going to spiritrock.org, I believe. I'll put that website link in the chat as well. As always, we appreciate your Donna. As you know, the teachings have been given freely by teachers since the time of the Buddha, and we're still trying to do that in this modern Western world. So any donations you feel moved to give to support the teacher and the organization are greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Catherine. And do we take more of a break now or not necessarily?
I mean, I think we usually do a little bio break, stretch break, 5 minutes or so or less.
Okay, let's take 3 or 4 minutes and get comfortable, or take a bio break, or have a little stretch. I'll be right back with you. All right. Thank you again for sitting with me this evening. My name is David Lewis. I've been a member of Mission Dharma on and off for many, many years. Howie is one of my primary teachers. I'm very fond of Howie and very fond of the Sangha. And very grateful to Catherine and Mary and the volunteers that keep things going with the Sangha. So I always try to acknowledge the volunteers at Mission Dharma because those are the people that make things happen behind the scenes. So as a introduction to my talk, this is a talk that I've been working on for a little over a month. And it kind of arose when I noticed that I was feeling overwhelmed by all the bad news in the world. Maybe you can relate to that. And I noticed that if I spend too much time doom scrolling through the day's news, or even the weather conditions for nowadays, for that matter, I just feed that overwhelm. Many of us have a strong negativity bias, a propensity to be drawn to what's wrong with our lives and the world, rather than what's true and good. It's the glass half empty analogy. We tell ourselves that if we perceive the glass as half full, that we're in denial. But aren't we in just as much denial viewing the glass as half empty? In fact, both are simply mind states. Experiencing the world as it is entails recognizing both to be true. Our glass is both half empty and half full. So I came up with tonight's topic, wonder, out of a need to find some balance in the way that I've been perceiving the world. I was inspired by the G.K. Chesterton quote that we shared in this week's Sangha reminder. The quote is, "The world will never starve for want of wonders, but only for want of wonder." So wonder. Dictionary, one of the dictionary definitions is wonder is a feeling of surprise mingled with admiration, caused by something beautiful, unexpected, unfamiliar, or inexplicable. As this definition suggests, wonder is a state of mind. It's a feeling. But in everyday life, we tend to identify more with the objects or wonders rather than the state of mind or wonder. Our Dharma practice can help us recognize and cultivate wonderful mind states, no matter what is going on in our lives. Wonder arises when we gaze at the stars on a clear night, a practice that the Buddha advocated, or witness the migration of monarch butterflies, or stand beneath a canopy of ancient redwood trees. We associate wonder with a feeling of awe in the presence of majesty. But poets and scientists remind us that if we look carefully, wonder is found in the most humble of things. I found this quote from Brian Cox, who's an English particle physicist. It's Brian Cox speaking about a blade of grass. It's a bit of a long paragraph, so bear with me. It's worth listening to. Brian Cox says, on its own, a blade of grass is a wonder. But viewed in isolation, its complexity and very existence is inexplicable. Darwin's genius was to see that the existence of something as magnificent as a blade of grass can be understood, but only in the context of its interaction with other living things and, crucially, its evolutionary history. A physicist might say that it's a four-dimensional structure with both spatial and temporal extent. And it's simply impossible to comprehend the existence of such a structure in a universe governed by the simple laws of physics if its history is ignored. And whilst you are contemplating the humble majesty of a blade of grass, with spatial extent and a few centimeters, but stretching back in the temporal direction for almost a third of the age of the universe, pause for a moment to consider the viewer. Because what is true of the blade of grass is also true for you. You share the same biochemistry, all the way down to the detail of proton waterfalls, and much of the same genetic history, carefully documented in your DNA. This is because you share the same common ancestor. You are all related. You were once the same. End quote. All creation, like the blade of grass, was once stardust, and therefore is wonderful. And speaking of a blade of grass, I've been reading Walt Whitman lately, who wrote long before science confirmed it that a leaf of grass is no less than the journey work of the stars. Whitman speaks the language of wonder. This is the perspective of one who is not caught up in the tight-fisted delusion of self. The Buddha's teachings about anatta, or not self, are not so much about the dissolution of a false sense of self as they are about the interconnectedness of all things, of all beings, sentient and otherwise. Our preciously guarded separate self is a delusion and something less than the actuality of who we are. Walt Whitman also famously said, "I contain multitudes." So what Chesterton, in that introductory quote, lamented was the absence of wonder in our busy lives. Not the absence of wonderful things, but the absence of a sense of wonder. Our Western culture celebrates individualism, materialism, values grounded in materialism, producing and consuming. In our culture, the acceptable response to the question, "How are you?" is busy. We nod our heads and empathize, agreeing that busy is a good thing. But hearing that response always makes me a little sad. Perhaps we've become too busy to experience the wonder all around us in everyday life. The Czech writer Milan Kundera said, "There would be nothing more obvious, more tangible than the present moment. And yet it eludes us completely. All the sadness in life lies in that fact. But the Buddha, of course, taught that the present moment is, in fact, tangible, although we may have forgotten how to access it. Just watch any infant exploring their world. That's the face of presence and wonder. We have always had access to wonder. It's just that our busy thinking minds get in the way of direct experience. In a poem, Dylan Thomas says that children in wonder, watching the stars, is the aim and the end. One of the things that I love most about Buddha Dharma is the notion that life, this body, the mind, and the world it reflects is wondrous. We don't have to undertake great journeys to experience transcendence. The poet Hafiz said, "I felt a need of a great pilgrimage, so I sat still for 3 days." The Buddha would have approved of that. And so would Franz Kafka, who said, quote, "You do not need to leave your room. Remain sitting at your table and listen. Do not even listen, simply wait. Be still and solitary. The world will freely offer itself to you to be unmasked. It has no choice. It will roll in ecstasy at your feet." This is a lesson that I tried to cultivate during this past year, sheltering in place. I don't know what your experience was, but many of my practitioner friends reported that their mindfulness practice flourished during those months. Many who had a meditation practice treated this past year and a half like a long retreat, sequestering ourselves in a quiet place, not that we had much choice about it, but that's what the Buddha advised in cultivating mindfulness. And if we manage to still our minds, even for a few moments at a time, just a few moments, contentment and well-being manifested. A welcome alternative to boredom, worry, and restlessness. I've never been so grateful for my practice, my meditation practices during these pandemic times. The great 20th century Thai Dharma teacher, Ajahn Chah, invites us to try to be mindful and let things take their natural course. Then your mind will become still like a clear forest pool. You will see many wonderful and strange things come and go, but you will be still. Problems will arise and you will see through them immediately. This is the happiness of the Buddha. So transcendence is a perfectly ordinary experience. But we Westerners have a hard time trusting that something so profound could be so simple. The Tibetan teacher, Kalu Rinpoche, understood this skepticism. He talked about, he described the 4 faults of awareness, which could easily be translated into the 4 faults of transcendence, or those things that we have a problem with wrapping our minds around. When it comes to transcendence, it's So close, you can't see it. So deep, you can't fathom it. So simple, you can't believe it. And so good, you can't accept it. That's what keeps us from transcendence. The suttas, the Buddha's teachings, are full of wonder. The word is often used to describe the state of awe that yogis experienced upon hearing the words of the Buddha. The Buddha himself used it to describe the wonders of mindfulness and samadhi. Simple practices that are available to us at any time. Practices that cultivate wonder. Mary Oliver reminds us to pay attention. This is our endless and proper work. To pay attention. This is our endless and proper work. In preparing this talk, I discovered that there's a sutta. I did a little research and found a sutta that I was not aware of, called the Acharya Abhuta Sutta. That's translated as wonderful and marvelous. And I got so excited because I thought, oh, there's a whole sutta about wonder, and it appears to be quite a long one. So I looked it up and I started reading it. And it is quite long. And in this sutta, the Buddha's cousin and attendant, Ananda, his constant companion, is sitting with a group of monks and lay people. And Ananda is listing the wonders and miracles of the Buddha's birth and life. And the Buddha walks into this scene in the sutta. The sutta is mostly Ananda's words, not much of the Buddha's. The Buddha walks into the scene and said, "What are you all talking about?" And Ananda said, "Well, I'm listing the wonders and miracles of the Buddha's life and the Buddha's birth, particularly." And so the Buddha sat down to the side and said, "Well, carry on, Ananda." And Ananda went on and on and on, talking about the virgin birth of the Buddha. Did you know that there was a virgin birth of the Buddha? Talking about how the heavens opened up and the earth shook and rainbows happened all over the place. And the animals came to worship, and angels and devas came down from the heavens. Many miraculous things happened. And this goes on for pages and pages, the list of miraculous things, rather over the top. And so Ananda talks on and on and on until he runs out of steam. And the Buddha, towards the end of the sutta, said, is that all you have, Ananda? And Ananda said, that's all I've got for now. And these are the words of the Buddha, ending the sutta. The Buddha says, "All that being so, Ananda, remember, this too is wonderful and marvelous quality of the Tathagata. For the Tathagata, feelings are known as they arise, as they are present, as they disappear. Perceptions are known as they arise, as they are present, as they disappear. Thoughts are known as they arise, as they are present, as they disappear. Remember this too, Ananda, as a wonderful and marvelous quality of the Tathagata." So that whole long sutta, talking about wonders and miracles of the Buddha's life, came down to a punchline delivered by the Buddha that simple mindfulness is equal or greater, an equal or greater wonder to all those worldly miracles that Ananda listed. Simple mindfulness, just like we did tonight in our practice. Feelings are known as they arise, as they are present, and as they disappear. For the Buddha, these are the true wonders. Tathagata is one of the many honorific titles of the Buddha. It's derived from the same root word as tathata in the Pali language, which is often defined as suchness or thusness. You might experience a moment of tathata when you look out your window and see a hummingbird resting on a branch outside. It feels like the whole world has stopped and there's just the bird at rest and you with no separation. You are transfixed and it's a wonderful moment. Mindfulness practice helps us to both notice and prolong these moments of transcendent direct experience of the world. In his book, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, the author Ocean Vuong describes a trio of tulips in an earthenware pot that stopped me in the middle of my mind. I love that quote. It just popped out the book to me. A trio of tulips in an earthenware pot stopped me in the middle of my mind. This is a beautiful description of tathata. It reminds us that the wondrous event is not the tulips, but the stopping of the mind. It's the still mind that is transcendent, not the object. And so it is with poetry, art, nature. The simplest things are endowed with great significance. As in, for example, William Carlos Williams' poem, The Red Wheelbarrow. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens. Or this short verse by the medieval Japanese poet Izumi Shibiku. She writes, although I try to hold the single thought of the Buddha's teaching in my heart, I cannot help but hear the many crickets' voices calling as well. A sense of wonder invites all kinds of beneficial mind states, such as gratitude, curiosity, joy, and humility. Humility, because when we are in a state of wonder, the ego is diminished. It's not all about me. The poet John Milton says that gratitude bestows reverence, allowing us to encounter everyday epiphanies, tathata, those transcendent moments of awe that change forever how we experience life in the world. Buddhist monk, teacher, translator, Bhikkhu Analayo, who's currently living, reminds us that the whole of the Buddha's path can be seen as a progressive refinement of joy. Looking back on my nearly 50 years of Dharma practice, I can agree that that has been my experience. The whole of the Buddhist path can be seen as a progressive refinement of joy. Peace and joy are always available to us, as is a sense of wonder. A peaceful mind is a wondrous thing in and of itself. It only requires a willingness to slow down, to pay attention, to step off the hamster wheel of a busy mind and directly experience the world, unfiltered by your ideas, preferences, and prejudices. The Chinese Chan master, Wumen Hukai, says, 10,000 flowers in spring, the moon in autumn, the cool breeze in summer, snow in winter. If your mind isn't clouded by unnecessary things, this is the best season of your life. End quote. This is the best season of your life. Can you see it? Your best chance for happiness is right now, in this present moment. And now. And now. Working on this talk on wonder has been a great joy for me, because every day lately, I've been stopped in the middle of my mind by something or the absence of something, and I have the opportunity to either get busy or abide in wonder. So I've been practicing choosing wonder, and it is a practice. And finally, as the Buddha pointed out to Ananda in that sutta, the greatest wonder of all is the wonder of waking up. This is how waking up is described by Sally Tisdale in her book, The Women of the Way, in relating the story of Taijitsu, the abbess of Hakujan. She saw that arisings arose, abided, and fell away. She saw that knowing this arose, abided, and fell away. Then she knew that there was nothing more than this, no ground, nothing to lean on stronger than the cane she held, nothing to lean upon at all, and no one leading. And she opened the clenched fist of her mind and let go, and fell into the midst of everything. So those are my thoughts on wonder, my thoughts and all those wonderful people that I quoted. Thank you so much for your kind attention. We have a few minutes. If anyone has a comment or question or reflection, or perhaps some experience of wonder that you've had recently. Would anyone care to share? I can't see everyone on the screen, so you could try putting your hand up or maybe just speak up.
I had a wondrous experience this morning early at the swimming pool. I had sat for about 15 minutes of the beginning of a sit with Susie Harrington, who does nature meditation practice, and she's doing a week of talks on the elements and the practice with the elements of earth, water, fire, etc. And my friend picked me up at 7:30, went to the swimming pool, outdoors, the sun was coming up, and as I was swimming, I saw the droplets of water, falling off my arms as I did the swimming strokes, and the light shining through them, and it was just the most radiant experience. Just by that little reminder of water and how we are earth and we are also water, and how water, binds us, but moves the earth, and the earth binds the water, and there I was immersed in water. It was just incredible. I was
That's
very
what,
grateful. I was so grateful for your talk, because I really actually I can't I appreciated that sense later in the day too. Like it definitely awoke my appreciation.
that's beautiful, Catherine. Thank you for sharing that. That's a perfect description of moment of tathata. For that physicist in the talk, it was a blade of grass. For you, it was a drop of water.
Mm-hmm.
And as you described, if you cultivate, really pay attention to that kind of wonderful experience in everyday life, you can make it last all day. It can just resonate through the day like a gong. The sound just continues. So any small thing, a hummingbird in a tree, a drop of water, a blade of grass, it's not the thing itself. It's it's how we see it. It's how we perceive it. Sense of wonder is a great gift, and it can be cultivated. Fred, hi Fred, nice to see you.
Yeah, that talk makes me really happy. It's just knowing how many of those moments are available that I'm just whizzing by most of the time, and like those moments, like she was talking about with the water or the hummingbird, or just there's all these small moments, and I think one of the things you're pointing to is just the joy of being in the present moment, just that sense of not needing anything else. This moment is perfect just as it is. Those moments when I can get to that place, or when I'm in that place, right? Those are the beautiful moments. Yeah, so thanks for the reminder to know that that's actually very accessible.
Thank you, Fred, and thank you for pointing out that's just simply abiding in the moment. Even if nothing in particular, nothing special is happening, simply abiding in the present moment is a cause for happiness. Anyone else? Well, if not, we're close enough to our ending time that we can spend a couple of minutes appreciating the wonder of Sangha and appreciating our fellow yogis, offering the merit of our practice. And I like to do this little exercise sometimes. I might have done it the last time I was here. I invite you to pick a face on the screen, any old random face, preferably maybe somebody you don't know, and send them good wishes. May you be safe from danger and harm. Now pick another face, random face on the screen, knowing that somebody's picking yours. You don't know who. May you be healthy in body and mind. And now pick another face. May you live with peace and ease. And now take in the whole Sangha, as many faces as you can see on your Zoom screen. May you be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And now radiating out that metta for all beings everywhere. May all beings be safe from danger and harm, healthy in body and mind. May all beings live with peace and ease, and be free from suffering. May it be so. Thank you, everybody, and hope you have a lovely, wondrous evening.
Thank you, David. Wonderful. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.